Bullet Club. For life.
What's up, Bullet Club? I'm back with another video. This one, again, Marvel Rivals. It's taking over the world. It's got everybody going crazy. Again, with 20 million players on and off, an average of 500,000 to 400,000 people playing at a time. The game is just massive. And we're hearing news that it's not only transcending gaming, streaming, and Let's Playing, but it's going out into the greater ether and pushing itself beyond the stratosphere with helping comic book sales go up by 82% in the United States and around 70 to 60% worldwide. More and more people are getting interested in the universe and the Marvel IPs and everything else. There hasn't been this much hype for Marvel and Marvel Talk since the original Avengers Phase 1, Phase 2, and Phase 3 even timeline leading up to Infinity War and Endgame. It has never been this hype and this crazy. But with all that being said, with all the good, there is some bad. And let's talk about my top 5 things that are wrong with Season 1 as a player who hit Diamond 3 in Season 0, and I haven't had much time to play this season. I'm Platinum 3. As it sits, I haven't really had a lot of time to play and invest because I've had kids sick. The TikTok ban really messed me up. And I'm trying to gather finances, security plans, and back catalog, everything else, as well as trying to produce more YouTube and Rumble content for all of you beautiful people that are out there. So if you really do enjoy the content, please like, comment, subscribe, follow, do all of that stuff. It greatly helps me out. And it lets me know that I have a backup plan and that you guys enjoy the content, even if it's just a aspect ratio change compared to what I did on TikTok. But that being said, let's talk about this. The number one and the most important thing that we're seeing and that people are talking about and bringing up, this piece of hair doesn't want to work with me today. Anyway, a lot of controversy and problems within the Marvel Rivals community, Reddits, Twitter threads, everything, is the overall skill gap and the behavior of people. If you're someone familiar with Overwatch, like myself, who was a former pro and everything else of the like, not in Overwatch League, as I always have to specify, Overwatch League was its own different beast. But that being said, a lot of people, including the big ones like Flats, Emong, Tim the Tatman, XQC, all the usual suspects from Overwatch that came over to Marvel Rivals are saying the same thing. We are all learning where the skill gap starts and it ends. And I truly believe and I truly agree. As someone who can't stream 8 to 12 hours a day and who isn't financially sustainable to do so, in the 2 or 3 hours a day I get to play and climb up gradually, I see. Bronze is just, hey, you can carry if you play a really good hero or character and help them out and you can talk to them because they're kind of wanting to learn and they want to get better. Then you get to silver and you get those kind of people that are like, haha, I climbed out of bronze, I'm better than you. And they start to develop that hero complex and that main character complex. A lot of them will stay down or go back into bronze and populate that and make it bad. Just like with League of Legends and in other games, the most toxic people are in the middle to the bottom of the pack because they always feel like it's not their fault and that they're hard stuck because of everybody else. And then that really shows itself and starts to take form and completely control the atmosphere once you get to gold. If you can get out of gold with the old ideology of yes sir, no ma'am, and keep your head down, barrel, fill, lock in, maybe play something that isn't meta, but you can awestruck and wow them and then kind of persuade them to get into it, you'll be good to go. And that's what a lot of the Reddit posts, threads, and everything else are talking about. Number 2, I feel like this is subjective, but I feel the incentive and the reward and the quote-unquote addiction that a lot of people are referencing when it comes to Marvel Rivals, they just don't understand the game. Jinxie was recently on record saying, oh, this game is just brain rot. It's just jumping in and dying all the time. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't like it. It's bad. And again, Jinxie plays on console. Then you have the other side of the aspect where someone who plays on controller but plays on PC. And Nick Merck's saying, listen, I'm ass. I know I'm ass. I've never played games like these before. There's a lot of nuance and a lot of back and forth, and it's the first game that I'm not good at or better at than Tim the Tatman. And that's saying something. And a lot of these people don't understand and don't know that there's no aim assist and there's no controller smoothing in the way that you would see in a Call of Duty or another game that's on console. That's just not in the nature of NetEase, Tencent, and all of the Chinese companies that develop their games. They are esports first, gotcha second, casual games third. And when you kind of wrap your mind around that concept, that belief in that ideology, you start to understand and see. And with these games, much like a League of Legends, a Path of Exile, and a lot of these other MOBA or these other type of hero shooter or strategy games, even fighting games, there's extra layers and levels of detail that you need to commit to and invest in. And a lot of these casual people don't understand that. And that was made very prevalent with the Twitch Rivals tournament and all the backlash and problems and issues that happen with that. We'll get more into that later. Number 3, this is more of a personal gripe. In the same realm of I love MarvelRivals, I'm playing the hell out of it. I already locked in and amassed a huge amount of time with the game. My biggest issue and my biggest complaint that I personally have with it is after a certain time, I don't feel rewarded for playing the game. And that's just because I knock out all my dailies, all my weeklies, and all my challenges right off the rip to the point where I'm just playing ranked for rank's sake. And if I happen to rage queue, or I happen to be like, you know what, I'm done for the day, I don't have much incentive to go play the other game modes. Conquest, it's here or there, it's done in about 2 or 3 minutes. Not very engaging for me. And then the new Doom mode, I just don't know. I'm not locked in and I'm not engaged with that as much as I should be. Because it's just a third-party fiesta. I get it, it's supposed to be fun, whatever else. But, you know, when I start playing those modes, I'm like, I might as well just go back to fucking playing ranked. And the challenges were a good way to keep me locked in and playing those other modes. And the overall rewards, the battle pass, and everything else feels very strenuous and very locked in. I get it. I already have all the comic book pages. I have my Thor skin. Say that 5 times fast. It'll sound really weird. But I have all that stuff locked in and ready to go. Now I just need the rest of the skins. And I get it. Hey, Bullet, just pay the $21 to unlock everything. And you'll be good to go, bud. You don't even have to worry about it. All the extra Eternus and everything else that you have and all the currencies. You don't have to worry about it, my dude. And I get that. I understand that point of view. But as someone who has 2 kids, who's a parent and everything else, and who barely makes enough income to continue doing this for you guys and making these videos, $21 on a video game means a full tank of gas. A special day where I take my girls out to eat food at a restaurant and have a daddy-daughter date. Or something of that nature. So it doesn't seem feasible for me to do so. And being that the game already has the addictive quality and the gacha mechanic, you would think that there would be more challenges and options out there to engage the player. And this is a game where I'm 1 achievement away from completely platinuming the game on Steam and on Xbox. I play on Xbox with my kids. And outside of that, I feel like, wow, I don't have much else to do other than just play ranked. And that's more of a personal gripe. Number 4 is the misunderstanding that there is a meta, when there really truly is. And the meta is different for each rank that you get into. If you watch my pick bans video and everything else of the like, and how they looked at who's good, who's not good, and where DPS and stuff falls, it's because without the structure of a good tank or a good support, it's proven that a DPS struggles. You can't say that they won't survive or they won't be perfectly well in handling on their own, but a good pairing goes a long way. And in bronze and silver, you don't see that. But when you start to get to gold and platinum, you start to see the meta start to trickle in. And I'm one of those people, I'm like, hey, play what you want, but let's focus on some team ups. Let's get some good strategy. Let's get some unity. Because, hey, an extra 25% damage or an extra 50 shield or an extra, crit try and crit chance is very important. And it could swing a battle one way or another, and it could make the difference of whether or not you get out of the battle with 100 or 5 HP if you have no healer constantly pocketing you. And in gold and platinum, and even some diamond, you start to see as well, because pig bans take effect in diamond, you start to see the Iron Hulk rocket. Or the Iron Doom, the Iron Hulk strange meta. The Gamma Doom, as it's called. Where all of those abilities, the extra gamma damage, the extra radiation, everything else that you get off of that, really sways and controls the battle. And then couple that with a rocket who could not only deal pretty good damage with his machine gun, but gets a free res every 30 to 45 seconds, and whose ultimate is pretty impacting, stimulating, and boosting everybody in the game. Now I get it. There's Luna, there's Cloak and Dagger, there's Mantis, there's everything else. But Luna's falling off very strongly in the meta, and only being played when she's not banned or someone doesn't want to deal with a Mantis or a Rocket. This is what I'm personally seeing. Everybody has their own experience. But that being said, that's what you see. Then as you start to go up, you start to see the Winter Pun Rocket, which is Winter Soldier, Punisher, and Rocket Raccoon. Rocket giving them infinite ammo, again having a boost and a tremendous charge with his ultimate, stimulating everybody, giving them extra damage, defense, everything else other than, and having that res every 30 to 45 seconds. It works. So to say there isn't a meta or that people don't want to win is an understatement. And that puts me into my final statement and my final problem. MarvelRivals as a whole has been out long enough and has a lot of people lock in enough game time hours playing it that they need to make a decision on who and what they want their identity to be. You have in-game tournaments being run weekly and monthly all the way to April for this season. And a lot of the new characters are emphasized on fun. You don't really see a lot of Mr. Fantastic played in rank mode because his viability and stuff isn't really there yet. He hasn't been figured out. People don't know how to properly use him or what his role is. Now, primarily, he's not going to be your main DPS dealer. If he's your off DPS and part tank, I could see some longevity and some viability within that. As for Invisible Woman, she fits into the meta in the healers, and it's normally Invisible Woman Rocket that you see if you're running 2, or it's Invisible Woman Rocket Luna that you see if you're running triple support, which you see a lot of in High Diamond, Eternus, One for All, Grandmaster, and above. You see her a lot there. And on the other side of things, this was exposed very strongly, as I mentioned, with the Twitch Rivals tournament. And to put some context, I have some personal problems and issues with Twitch Rivals. I've competed only in 2, and they were both PUBG ones back when I was a PUBG pro. I coached in one of them when I was helping my friends BotDoc and Rick Grimes, if you know them. BotDoc was very popular and was very famous in playing a lot of Counter-Strike with Nick Bunyan, not Nick Merckx. And the clutches and funny moments and those videos and stuff of that nature. And Rick Grimes was very famous for the Rick Grimes report and hacker catching and banning people in H1Z1 working with Daybreak Studios. I let them play in one of them, and I coached. And then I played in the other one as it was a qualifier for the PUBG Open at the time to qualify for the main tournament. I played on 2 separate teams in that one. Once I was lost with my team, I was a sub in an emergency fill, and I had to emergency fill for Ohio Rebels and a couple other teams. If you know who Schaefer is, Shotzi, those guys, I play with them. But MarvelRivals needs to figure out who and what they want to be, specifically because with the Twitch Rivals tournament, they really exposed themselves. Originally, the plan was to have only 2 Grandmaster and above players be the professionals, and then 3 streamers and casual gamers or content creators and influencers. Then they changed it back to 4. And everybody thought, oh, this isn't going to be fun. It's not going to be entertaining. So again, they changed it back. The three major things you have to understand is from 2023 to present, there is no real Twitch Rivals staff. It's a skeleton crew. I know for a fact because when Twitch was doing all of those massive layoffs and everything else, I'm the one who unfortunately had to break it to the head of Twitch Rivals at the time that they no longer had jobs because he didn't know. And he was arguing with me in Nick Bunyan's Twitter thread. And I'm like, no, the news just broke. I'm looking at the lists of people being laid off, and the Twitch Rivals staff is there. And the other thing is, when you have a skeleton crew and you're trying to plan for games that are just popular and might have a reach and a benefit for you, you don't always think for what's best for the platform and the community. You just do what you think is best based off of follower count, subscriber count, and CCV, concurrent active viewership. And that was a major problem there, because MarvelRivals was like, no, not today. We want this to be like esports. We want this to be a professional showcase. So they vetoed it and blocked a lot of what Twitch wanted to do in their event. No, because you also have to remember, and this is the most important part, Rivals pays Twitch. And Twitch has to give a kickback to a certain extent to allow Rivals to have these events and be a part of the actual Twitch Rivals event showcase. League of Legends, Riot Games, and all of their products pulled out and are no longer doing business with Twitch because they did not like the way they were conducting business and utilizing the League of Legends as a platform on Twitch's platform itself. And that's where you end up with the stuff like where Valkyrie's like, this is a shit show, it doesn't work. She's a content creator and an influencer. And the B playing is a casual gamer, let's say even. I don't know her rank. I don't know because I didn't know she played MarvelRivals. And to be fair, from her leaving YouTube, her podcasts, and coming back to Twitch and everything else, I just don't follow. That's about the extent of what I know about Valkyrie in the modern sense. But everybody else was saying this is a common thing since 2023. Twitch Rivals is a shit show. It's a popularity contest. It's a pageantry showcase of the most popular people that Dan and friends believe are the future and the faces of Twitch. And when they try and make it competitive, the people are just too good. And even if they have just one casual player in there, it doesn't work. And I'm of the mindset, and I've always been of the mindset, and I made this reference to Twitch way back in the H1Z1 days when they were trying to make all these things grander and larger in scope and scope. You need to separate the difference. If you're going to have professionals, esports players, or people that are very highly ranked in the game, you need to have it set in an esports atmosphere. Add the pageantry, the everything else, the casters, whatever else will have you, and focus on the esports side. Then you do what we do with traditional sports. You have your All-Star Week, or you have your All-Star event. You get all your content creators, your influencers, your celebrities, and you have them all play against each other, because whether the game's good or not, whether it's a high to low point difference, you're going to be entertained because you're like, oh, hey, look, I know that guy. He's doing that silly thing he always does, but look how good his team is doing. And you have to separate the two. If you continue to mix them, you are not hurting anybody but the game and the actual professionals and the people who belong and deserve to be there making money for an esports style event. And that's exactly what happened. XUC and his team dominated Necros and his team. They were talking a little bit of shit back and forth in banter. They got hit with a personal DM of community guidelines and to go easy on these people, because it was bad television, so to speak. But that being said, I want to know what your thoughts are. I still love MarvelRivals. I'm still going to kick it into high gear, keep playing and enjoying myself. What are your thoughts? How do you guys feel about all of this? Do you think Reddit and the gamer, the Let's Player and the streamer and the high ranked players are actually unifying? Or do you think this is just something to get more clout, chase, and complain and bitch and moan because you're just not good at the game, as it is with any other game out there? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Until then, I'm Bullet Club Gaming 91, and I will catch you in the next one.